Hello and welcome to the Z-Hut. Today I would like to show you how you can control the PWM pins on your Arduino board via Bluetooth using an Android device and an app we're going to make in MIT App Inventor 2. Now I've already got the app turned on here and connected to the Bluetooth device, so let me demonstrate it working. All we have, I just got two sliders. Now you can have more sliders if you're going to control more PWM pins, or just one if you're only going to control one. And the first one here I have is connected to this fan. You can see it just turned on, and I can control its speed with the slider. Now this fan draws more current and voltage than the Arduino can supply, so I'm using a TIP 120. It's a Darlington transistor. For the other PWM pin we're controlling, I just simply got a little LED down here. You can see as I turn the slider up, the LED gets brighter. When I go down, it gets dimmer. We'll do the fan again, the LED. Now we're using HC06 Bluetooth module. You can also use HC05s, and there are some other ones as well that you can use. All of them will work with this. We're pretty much just going to be in this tutorial looking at how the app works, how to build one, the PWM control Arduino pins, and then we're going to take a look at the Arduino code and how you receive and decipher the values being sent from the app to the Arduino device. All right, I think we can go over to the computer. If you're interested in how to hook up the Bluetooth modules to your Arduino, I actually have a couple videos already on that. Just check my channel out. You'll find them real easy. So let's just get over to the computer. I think we'll take a look at the Android app first, because then it'll make more sense when we go to the Arduino sketch and how it all works. So I'll catch you over at the computer in just a moment. Alright, I've got MIT App Inventor 2 opened up here. Now if you've never used this before, it's very easy to find. It's a free application for writing Android apps, and it's designed to be real easy so a beginner can make apps on this without a problem. If you've never used it before, check my channel out. I actually got a short series of videos. There's like 5-6 of them on getting started using MIT App Inventor. Otherwise, you can just follow along. You'll probably be able to figure out how to do this without watching the others, but I do recommend it. All right. Well, first off, we need to pull in a list picker, and I've already got it here, and I've added a picture to it with the Bluetooth symbol, and it says connect. And the list picker can be found under the user interface here, and you just click on it and drag it in. Now, I have the screen set up right now, so everything is centered. If you check out my other videos, like I said, I got some on how to set things up different. Like if you wanted to put the list picker connect button up at the top or bottom, there's different ways to do the layouts, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. Like I said, check my other ones out if you've never used this before. But next, then, what we need is a Bluetooth client, and you go down under connectivity and you drag in the Bluetooth client and just drag it and drop it. Now, don't use the Bluetooth server. That's something different. You want the one that says Bluetooth client. Now I have this set up as virtual screens, so once you connect to the Bluetooth, this actually disappears, so you don't see it anymore. Because if you change to a different screen, you lose your Bluetooth connection. So I'm doing this with virtual screens, but you can do it with the button always being shown up here. You could have connect or disconnect. Just use the list picker for the connect button, and then you can do a button for the disconnect. And you don't have to use a list picker for the disconnect button. But once again, check out my other videos. They go into this a lot more. So now you've got your Bluetooth ready. We'll go over to the blocks and we'll take a look at how this works. Now we've got our list picker for selecting our Bluetooth device, and then after we select the device from the list and it checks if it's connected, then it sets that list picker, which is that button for connecting, to false, so it disappears, and then we turn our sliders on. Now as you can see, they're not showing up here, but I'll turn on the display hidden components because I had them set up so they're not visible until it connects, but I put 2 sliders in here. Now for however many PWM pins you want to control, drag another slider in. Now you could also put a text box in here if you wanted to type in a value between 0 and 255. But for most applications, you're probably just going to want a slider. And you could also add a label up here and have it display what value you're at. And remember to set them at minimum value of 0 and the max at 255. Now that's for your first one. Now if you use multiple sliders, the next one, what I've done is it goes from a minimum value of 1,000 to a maximum value of 1,255. Now if I did a third one, I'd go like between 2,000 and 2,255, fourth one 3,000 to 3,255, and so on and so on. That way the values that we are producing from these sliders don't overlap. If they overlap, your one slider will activate more than one PWM pin. Hopefully that makes sense to you. As we go through the blocks here, it should make more if it doesn't already. So now what we got is when slider 1, the thumb position has changed, and that can be drug in off of, you just click on your slider, and you see right here, you just drag that in and drop it. But we've already got them here, so we don't need it. And then what we do is we go under the Bluetooth, and we bring in the send a 2-byte number. And that can be found, that's right here. Then what we do is you go under math and you find a round and you drag that and drop it here. Then you go back under the slider 1 and drop in the slider 1 thumb position. Now whenever that first slider is changed, when you touch the screen and you change where the slider position is, it will send that value to the Bluetooth device that's connected to your Arduino board. So then your Arduino will receive this value. And when we get over to the Arduino code, you'll see how we take these numbers like the one that's 1,000 to 1,255 and how we convert them so that it's a value of 0 to 255. As you can see, that's all there is to this. And if you had more sliders, you just duplicate it and just make sure you've got another slider on your designer screen. And then you just change it to slider 3 and change this to slider 3. That's the easy way. Instead of having to drag them all in individually, is you can just duplicate them. Oops. Grab this. Throw it in the trash because we don't need it. Alright, well, let's go over to the Arduino IDE and we'll take a look at the sketch and how we decode these values that are being sent to the Arduino board and how we PWM write the pins. So I'll catch you there in just a second. Alright, I've got the Arduino IDE opened up here and I loaded up the sketch we were using. So let's just get right into it. So what we're doing here to start with is we're defining the pins that we're using for the PWM control. Now I'm naming one fan because on digital pin 9, which is a PWM pin, I have that little computer fan. Then I'm defining LED on pin 3, which is another digital PWM pin. Now I do recommend whatever you're connecting, give them a name that's going to make sense to you. It helps things go easier when you're writing the code, that it kind of is relevant to what you're controlling. Then we're also putting in an integer here, and I'm doing this as the LED val because the second slider was the one that we have to convert that number that's going to be coming in, and that one's going to be a value of between 1,000 and 1,255, but we need to have a value of 0 to 255 to analog right to that pin. So that's what we're going to be using this for. Now, if you're using a more than 2, you're going to need to do more integers, one for each of those, and I'll show you when we get down further into the code here how we're using that. Then, of course, we need, in the void setup here, we're doing our serial.begin, and I'm running 9600. That's standard for your Android apps. I would just leave that. I would not change anything in the HC06 or 5 or whatever Bluetooth module you're using. If it is at a different value, set it to 9600 because it works the best for doing this, and it's plenty fast enough for what we're doing. Plenty fast enough. Then what we need to do is we need to set our pin modes, and for every item you're PWM controlling, just set that as an output. Do your pin mode, and then I've got the LED output and the fan as an output. Now we get down to the void loop. Now right here, if serial.available is greater than or equal to 2. Now you remember when we were in the MIT App Inventor, we are sending 2-byte numbers, but the Arduino HC06 only receives 1-byte numbers. So we're waiting until there's 2 bytes in there, and then we're using this little formula right here, and you do not want to change this. And what this does is converts those 2 1-byte numbers into the 1 2-byte number that we sent. So just don't change this at all, and everything will work fine. Then what we're doing is we're going down, and now we're checking to see what values have been received. So if the value is greater than or equal to 0, and the value is less than or equal to 255, what we're doing is we're analog writing the fan. That would be your first slider. If it was another LED, you know, put LED, whatever. And then what we're doing is we're just writing the value, because the first slider is going to be a true value of between 0 and 255. So we don't have to do any math and conversions. Next, what we're doing is we're doing if val is greater than or equal to 1000 and val is less than or equal to 1,255, then we're using that integer, and we're doing the LED val equals val minus 1,000, and that will give us the number between a value of between 0 and 255, and then what we're doing is we're analog writing that. So if you had more sliders, you just do the same thing. The next one would be the 2,000 to 2,255, and so on and so on. And like I said, you don't have to use sliders. Sliders are the easiest way. You can also use text box in your app, and then you'd have to actually type the value in. But that's why I did this tutorial this way with the sliders, because that's the easiest, and it's most likely how you're going to be controlling whatever you're PWM controlling with what you're building. So the text box stuff, just play around with it. You should be able to figure it out, because the Android app is going to be, or the Arduino IDE, the sketch, is going to be the same. It's just in the blocks editor, an MIT App Inventor, you're going to have to set it up instead of using a slider. It's when the text box value changes, then you send the 2-byte number. And that's all there is to it. And that's all there is to this sketch, as you can see. That's the whole thing right there. Well, I can't really think of anything else to go over. If you look in the description below, I'll put a link, and on my website, I'll put a page for this project, and I will have the Arduino sketch on there, and I will also have a copy of the blocks from the MIT App Inventor app. I'll have a copy of the blocks on there, so you can go through to build your own if you want to try out the same thing like I did first. I'm not going to bother putting the APK file or the AIA file up. I mean, this is so simple to build. You're better off building it yourself because you'll learn more instead of just downloading mine and using it. You're not really going to learn anything then. So if you have any big problems, go ahead and leave a comment below. Sometimes it does take me a couple days before I get back because I don't always have time to check YouTube every single day. So leave a comment, or you can also leave it on Facebook. I actually check that a little more, and there'll be a link too in the description below to the Facebook, my Arduino Facebook page. So all right, well with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us here at the Z Hut today. If you found this information useful, please give me a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing. I do lots of stuff with Arduino and MIT App Inventor and a few other videos here and there and some interesting stuff. So, well, I hope you have a great day, and remember, have fun building.